إنك أنت العليم الحكيم سبحانك لا فهمنا لا إلا ما فهمتنا إنك أنت الجواد الكريم قل رب زدني علما. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. إنما حرم عليكم الميتة والدم ولحم الخنزير وما أهل به لغير الله فمن اضطر غير باغ ولا عاد فلا إثم عليه إن الله غفور رحيم. صدق الله مولانا العظيم. So continuing with the discussion of the forbidden things which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned in this ayat, we have talked about already the meta, the carrion, the animals which have died natural death, and those animals which come in that category. We also talked about blood in detail yesterday. So today, also lahm al-khinzir, today we will talk about that which is sacrificed in other than the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this takes a few different shapes and forms. So naturally, in the days of Jahiliyyah, during the time of Rasul alayhi salam, before the time of Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam, so the Arabs had distorted the deen of Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam, and they have made certain things halal and haram, which they came out of their own heads with the guidance of shaitan and their own misunderstandings. And so obviously something which has been openly sacrificed in the name of other than Allah. In other words, they have actually slaughtered that animal and they have mentioned the name of other than Allah, in the name of, for example, Jesus, or in the name of a Hindu god, or in the name of any other creation other than Allah. So that is going to be halal, that is going to be haram without any question or doubt. Then we have a second category where actually the name of Allah might be mentioned on the tongue, but the intention is something else. So what happens is that sometimes people in certain cultures, if there's there's some big shot, or there's some festival or whatever, so in the name or with the intention that for that particular individual, or sometimes we have ignorant Muslims by the side of graves or things like this, and they do very strange things, where they might actually on the tongue mention the name of Allah, but in the heart they're actually sacrificing it for the sake of something other than Allah, for some saint or for some prophet even, or even if we say in the name of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this is not, this is for other than Allah. So whether the other than Allah was mentioned on the tongue or it was intended in the heart, then this is all going to come under that category. So anything of that nature has to be abstained from. And also we have things which are not actually sacrificed, but we have certain food items. I don't know about here in America if this happens, but in Pakistan, where I lived for many years, so we have these various functions, or in the name of certain pious person of our ancestors, or a certain function. So they prepare certain dishes specially for that, with that intention. So these also should be abstained from. So we have to find out during those particular times, there's particular days which these things used to happen, and so these type of things get distributed. So we used to be careful about abstaining from things of that nature. The last thing that is mentioned here is for those persons who are forced out of circumstance, as we mentioned generally. So for them to partake of any of those things mentioned, so for them, what is the ruling? The ruling is that, as we mentioned earlier, to the extent that it will save a life. It's not just I'm feeling pain and so I'll take something, to reduce that pain. It's not like that. It's like life and death situation. In that case, with the condition to save the life, and we're not looking to enjoy, and we're not taking more than what is necessary to sustain life, in that case, these things do not become halal, but the blame or the sin is elevated. It's quite a different story. So haram didn't turn into halal, it remains haram, but the sin of using that will be excused to the extent that it is necessary, and to the extent um, that will, fulfill that life saving, and not more than that. There's a few more points, inshallah, we'll discuss tomorrow, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. وبه التوفيق وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين. Yes, also the moon was not sighted on Saturday night, but it was obviously, so 30 days were completed